This should be a short episode, but we're going to talk about where women and guys feel addicted to their ex. We see it all the time. How many times have we seen somebody go back to their ex, no matter how toxic and how bad it could be? Well, there's a psychologist at Eleanor Greenberg that talks about how you may have used your ex as a self-object to manage your emotions. It might be one of the reasons why. So they make the point of saying that people often find their ability to function diminishes after a breakup. Right. So the effort they were putting into what they were doing with somebody that really wasn't good for them, they feel like, well, there's a void now missed. And they need to do something with it. The damage that's already been done, the emotional damage, is as if they need to continue to be emotionally damaged. Some feel like they lose a part of themselves when they break up with someone they use as a self-object. A self-object is someone we use as an extension of ourselves to soothe us, help manage our self-esteem, provide other necessary functions. So remember, because the reason you go into it, you find somebody that's going to be an ex that's just toxic for you, especially for women, is because they've gone through various trauma leading up to falling into the arms of a guy that's no good for them. You can always know if a woman is not emotionally healthy going into a relationship. The guys that are narcissistic and toxic and manipulative, they're going to prey on women like that. For whatever reason, that might have caused that to happen. So everybody understands the normal sadness or anger that people feel after a breakup. The other thing too is that when guys and girls break up, sometimes the breakup isn't so severe and not so severing to where the breakup was done in person. And there's no going back. But when people break up, they don't do it. When the truth is, if you're going to break up with somebody, you need to make them feel like there is no chance of coming back. Especially if it's a woman, make them feel it. Make them feel that the breakup is good and like they should not go back to you. Because if you just don't feel interested in them, don't hold on to them. And, just don't. When a woman's very sensitive in some cases, you don't want them to be caught up to the point and say, okay, and the guys need to feel the same way. Guys and girls just need to be strong and steadfast in breaking up. When it's done, it's done. And no returning back. We all hear the whole same trope of, oh, but the breakup sex. No. You're going to move on. You're going to move on. It's got to be that. Not anything, oh, let's go become friends. No. When you have that kind of intimacy, if that chemistry does not continue, and you feel like, if you go farther and take the next step, it's not going to work, don't put yourself in that spot. Break it. It will be healthy for both because both parties will bounce back. They'll go through the various emotions of like grief when it comes with this, but love can be, you can grieve being in love with somebody else and then let yourself be open up to the next person. Because nothing's holding you back from loving. And that's what needs to happen, is there has to be a complete release of that love of the original person, of your ex, so you can move on. So one of her clients talks about longing for his ex-girlfriend. And he says, could I be addicted to my ex? Now that she is gone, I feel like I lost a piece of myself. I'm actually having trouble functioning without her. What is wrong with me? I was always so independent and confident. Now I'm a mess. Why do I feel so helpless without her? And this also goes the other way around, with no matter gender specific. It could be a woman to a man. And to understand why somebody would be addicted to the other person, it's the concept of the self-object, which is part of the diagnosis and treatment of personality disorders. This is part of that attachment theory that we always hear about, Dr. John Bowlby, that when we're born, we're quite helpless, dependent on other people, especially as primary caretakers, to make sure we're safe, fed, warmed, and soothed. As children, we're no longer need parents as we did as babies, but now we can use the toilet, dress, feed ourselves. We still depend on our parents to act as self-objects and soothe us when we're hurt, take care of us when we're sick, make sure we're loved, da-da-da. As teenagers, we're ready for a future as independent adults. Adults in our mid-20s, we start shedding some of our independence on our peers and then stop caring as much about fads and what our peers think and start weighing more of our own opinions. And when they talk about self-objects playing a role in romantic relationships, falling in love is basking in our new lover's appreciation for us. Many of us feel more lovable, attractive, brilliant as we see ourselves through our lover's eyes and actions. I wish I knew what that was like. And I think that's the part of love that is what people look forward to when they fall in love. Is because you have that one person that's going to be totally committed and totally focused and gives you the praise, gives you the importance, because it's that one person that makes you feel important, makes you feel loved, the one person that's there for you above everybody else. That's tough to let go. I can understand that. They say it's like an addiction. And the summarizing, they talk about the fact that we might feel addicted or compelled to be with our ex because we over-relied on our ex's support without realizing it. And our ex performed certain self-object functions that kept us emotionally stable and happy. And it's easy to fantasize about getting back together than accepting we have to now return to doing things ourselves. Makes sense? But it's one of those things that we need to be much more emotionally healthy about. Helps our mental health, helps our emotional health. And in the meantime, while you're looking for the next person to fall in love with, hook up with somebody else that might be a little depraved and debaucherous.